absorb all I need to absorb. And watch this now. Here's Joseph overseeing the entire estate of Potiphar. And when you look at biblical narrative, there's a hierarchy of slaves. Every slave is not equal to other slaves. There are different levels of ranking and all kinds of structure socially. And Joseph now is on the highest structure as a slave, highest ranking, because he's now a business partner to Potiphar. He's handling all of Potiphar's business, his financial business, and is dealing with his business outside of his work with Pharaoh, dealing with his estate, dealing with all of the family, dealing with all of the slaves. Joseph's overseeing everybody on Potiphar's estate, and in fact, he's overseeing all of Potiphar's business initiatives. I want you to see that Joseph perhaps saying to himself, God, I'm here under your training. And I wonder what situation you're in right now that you're looking at it the wrong way. I wonder what's going on right now in your life that you're misinterpreting it because you don't like being there, because you don't like maybe the pain, you don't like some of the challenges you have to face, you don't like some of the circumstances surrounding it, you don't like the emotions that it's forcing you to grapple with and deal with. And perhaps with all of that you don't like, you're not seeing what God is doing in that situation, that circumstances, and how He's training you for something greater. And may I suggest to you, take on this perspective that you need to say, number one, I'm here by God's appointment. Number two, I'm here under His training. I'm here under His training. I'm a published author. I've written about a dozen books, and my latest book has been translated into Korean. It's in French. It's in the nation of Indonesia and all the English-speaking world. And the book Why Drown When You Can Walk on Water? It's about faith, and that's one of the books that's been translated into a lot of different languages. My publisher is Time Warner, and you wonder, well, how did you get to that place? It started off when I had my first engineering job. And my boss was a real sharp guy. He had a PhD in engineering. He was also a part-time professor at the local university. He had his professional engineering license. He was smart as a whip, but he had a nasty attitude. And every time I did a report, my first master's is in environmental engineering. And so every time I was working as a consulting engineer in the field of environmental engineering. And so every time I did a report, without even looking at it, he'd pull out a red pen out of his pocket and just start butchering it and laughing with a sarcastic laugh. And sometimes he'd leave his office, come into my office, and while I'm working on a project, he'd just stand over my shoulder. While I'm sitting at my desk, he'd stand over my shoulder just looking and just reading what I'm writing and laugh sometimes. I'm saying, man. And I hated working there. And I hated having to deal with him. And I get so angry. And sometimes I just get in my car and if you ever watch television, you see Don King, his hair sticks up like this. That's how, even though my hair is like this short, it just stuck up like that because it's so angry. Smoke came out my ears like the cartoons. I mean, I was just so angry with this guy. And then one day I said, I'm going to fix this guy. So you thought I was going to beat him up or something like that, or burn down his house or something, mail him anthrax. No, it wasn't any of that. It was a nice idea, but it wasn't that. But I said, I'm going to fix this guy. And so I went to the bookstore and I bought every book I could on writing. And I said, I'm going to become a great writer so I can write these reports so this guy won't treat me that way. And my writing started to improve astronomically. And now I look back, and when I look at those days where I said I hated those days, when I understand it now with a theology of how to deal with crisis and trials, I'm able to say I was there under God's training. See, there are times God puts you in situations that it's not the best. You thought you should be on Hawaii just laying on the beach suffering for Jesus. But that's not where He calls you sometimes. And here you are, you're in your situation and it seems so difficult and it seems so weird. And it seems like, hey, why am I there? But I want you to understand, like Joseph was able to say, number one, I'm here by God's appointment. God has a plan. Number two, I'm here under His training. Perhaps the reason why you're in the situation that you're in is because you're there under God's training. And what I've learned in my 25 years of journeying with Jesus is this reality, that when you serve God, nothing goes to waste. The good, the bad, the painful, the joyous, nothing goes to waste when you serve God. You know, in the States, we have this soup called gumbo, seafood gumbo. And it's really another name for you throw everything that you have as leftovers in the pot when you cook it. You have shrimp, throw that in. You got lobster, throw that in. You have some cod, throw that in. Salmon, throw that in. You have broccoli, throw that in. You have onions, throw that in. You have anything else, throw it in. Because it's gumbo. And so I want you to know, when God is making something wonderful out of you, he throws in, okay, childhood days, throw that in. Well, days where you got fired, throw that in. Days when you got promoted, when you didn't do anything and you said, throw that in. Days when your church got angry at you and you didn't know what you did, throw that in. Days when the church just loved you and you said, I don't know why, throw that in.